Hi everyone, this is Carrie Parr with Pick Up the Pieces Tennessee. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite subject, and that is behavior. When you're in the schools, we have lots of different options and opportunities to shape and address behavior, lots of strategies and lots of professionals that we consult with when we're talking about behavior. But if you are coming at behavior with a child that you, like your child at home, or or another scenario, there are three components that you can look at that I like to troubleshoot and start with first while you're trying to figure out how you can improve a child's behavior and what are some things that you can address first before you look at some of the other underlying issues that might be happening. So the first thing that I would look at is, are they in charge, or do they know what's going to happen in their day? Now that can look like, in special ed, we used to call it, do they have a schedule? Whether it's a written schedule, a to-do list, an object schedule, a picture schedule. Those are all things that we talk about when we're at school and we're talking about special education. But if you're a parent in your house and you are seeing behavior issues with your child at home, or you see them at certain places in the community, like when you go to church or when you go to the playground. So one of the things that you can look at is, like I said, a schedule. Now, what does a schedule mean? It really is more about predictability. Does your child have a routine and predictability to wherever they are? Do they, and that can look like we do the same thing every day. It's a routine, it's rigid, they know that's what we do. But a lot of times, even though adults understand this is what we do, because the adult is probably the one that made it that way, or that chose the order things are gonna go, or B, is it the way the child chose for things to go? Routines are very helpful because it releases your brain to think about other things because you know what's happening next. That's the whole point of a schedule or some sort of routine. So does if a child is showing behavior issues, my first guess would be, do they feel comfortable enough in their day or wherever they are that they don't have to think about what is happening next? Because if they're thinking about what is happening next all the time, then their brains are up here and their nervous system is in overload and they're just in survival mode because they don't know what's going to happen next. And my favorite analogy is, if you've ever flown on an airplane and you're already, you're already anxious up here because you've had to go through security and you've had to go find your gate, and then it was changed, and then your flight was delayed, and then you get on the plane. Did you get the seat you were supposed to have? Get your stuff all put together, and then the pilot comes over. Let's say you even taxi out of the gate and you are headed to the runway and your plane stops. And then they turn around and they come back. And your anxiety is like up here because you're like, nobody has told you what's happening. And so the pilot finally comes over and says, hey, we've had a problem. We're going to have to go back to the gate. Your nervous system comes down a little bit because you know what just happened. Kids are the same way. Kids with autism are the same way. They're actually, they need this information on a daily basis. They need to know what's happening. That's why they like sameness. That's why a lot of times they want predictability, so that their nervous system can come down and they can accept new information that life is going to bring them. The new information that whatever their mom is making for dinner, whatever their teacher has a change in their day. All of those things that would normally, we expect children to be able to just take and understand. Unless you have predictability where a nervous system can come down, it's very hard for children to overcome that and accept any new changes in their day. So that's my first troubleshooting tip, is check, do they have a schedule? Do they have predictability? Do they have routine? I said these three, but I really mean that's the first troubleshooting tip. The second troubleshooting tip is communication. Do they have a way to communicate? We say it all the time, behavior is communication. What does that mean? Well, do they have a way to communicate? Do they have a way to say, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm having a bad day, I have a headache, somebody was mean to me, my morning didn't go like it was supposed to? If they're a verbal child, then they probably can tell you those things. They also have to have an element of maturity too, to be able to say how they're feeling to an adult. So the fact that they You can hear my dog in the background. The fact that they are able to tell you how they feel and what's happening is a level of maturity that we don't always see in a child with developmental delays or small children.